Hello and welcome to the Nashville Daily podcast. I am Stuart Deming, and joining me in studio right now is Erin Pennington.
What's up? I'm waiting for your lower third to go off, and there it is.
There we are. So
There am. I'm in the control room right now. Stuart's on the other side of the control room, and while we're getting our set ready for episode 1,000, I want like an echo out there. Thousand. While we're getting ready for that, this is episode 998. And we're getting our set ready for episode 1,000. It's very exciting.
Under construction, folks.
Yeah, so hence why we are sitting in the control room. Yesterday's episode was really fun, and today's episode is going to be just as fun. Yesterday, Stuart, remember, we talked about your favorite, out of the almost 1,000 that we've done, some of your favorite episodes / series that we talked through. If you want to hear that and listen to the episodes, go into the show notes of yesterday's episodes. All that can be found at NashvilleDailyPodcast.com. But before we get to all the fun, we have to thank our sponsor, Think Brad. If you're thinking Nashville, think Brad. And think Brad Reynolds. He is a realtor here in Nashville. Over $200 million in sales volume here. He knows Nashville. We're going to, usually I say he knows Nashville like nobody else, but we have a video coming out
later today.
Battle of the Minds that is between Brad and Stuart. So we'll see who comes out the victor. But if you are looking for a home in Nashville or the Middle Tennessee area, contact Brad. His number's on the screen. His details are also in our show notes and at NashvilleDailyPodcast.com. So thank you, Brad, for that. You'll be hearing from Brad here, I think, later this week as well.
No, next week, because today's Friday. So
next week.
Sometime next week, Brad will be on the
my
show.
weeks.
We have episode 1,000 on Tuesday, and that video, the Battle of the Minds video, is a piece of content that I am super excited to present. It's coming out later this afternoon on our YouTube channel, explore.nash. Make sure to subscribe, and also do us a favor, share this video with your friend. And the reason for that is we ask a lot of questions about Nashville that you may know or they may know, and we want to see who can win between your friends and yourself this trivia competition.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. I hope you guys enjoy it. That's on our YouTube channel, explore.nash, and subscribe to this channel. This is Nashville Daily Podcast.
Also, if you are looking for that video and it's not out, it's coming. It's ready. If it doesn't come out, just in case, you never know.
You never know.
If it doesn't come out this afternoon,
it's coming.
It's coming
sometime.
very, very,
it's
very
coming
soon.
Sometime this afternoon or tomorrow or Sunday. It's coming out soon. All right, Erin, let's get into the topic. So yesterday I covered my top 5 favorite episodes that we've done out of 1,000 episodes. That's a lot of data and content to go through.
Yes.
So Erin, it looks like you are you did the same thing, and some of your episodes are pretty early on. So why don't you go ahead and get started and tell us why?
Yeah, so let's start with my first favorite out of these. I made sure to at least have one interview in there, one series. One is similar to yours, and then 2 kind of hold a special place for either Nashville or our podcast in general. The first, we talked a little bit yesterday that we recorded our first 100+ episodes, like everywhere in Nashville.
All over the place.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
All over the
in
place.
The neighborhoods, coffee shops.
I threw Brad's
near
lower third up. ThinkBrad.com.
ThinkBrad.com. Near a dumpster. We've done that one. That was interesting. All right.
Yeah, but the one that sticks out to me the most for several reasons is the one that we recorded under the train bridge at Bicentennial at Capitol Mall State Park.
Which I won't be honest, from a production standpoint, never do that. But it was awesome.
Yeah, that was
so much fun. But like, if you are a sound engineer, you would legitimately hate us.
Yeah, we barely knew if it was going to work or not.
It worked.
There are a couple things that stood out to me. That's where we will never ever forget that it's just not Bicentennial Mall State Park.
No, it's when I got corrected multiple times.
They said it's Bicentennial Capitol Mall State Park.
And now I get it right every time.
Yeah, so we won't forget that. And then the second thing was trains going by and basically just yelling in our interviews to try to hear each other. which is really cool. And then we got to, what was really fun is just interact with like 3 or 4 different rangers there at the park. They just happen to kind of all be there. They're usually there. You probably don't see them a lot.
Oh, no.
But they're there a lot.
They keep themselves hidden. And part of the reason for that is Nashville police also patrol that area too.
Yeah, so it's just really cool. It's one that we didn't expect to turn into a really cool podcast. We didn't go there with the intention of interviewing the Rangers.
No, we literally were recording. We had the microphones out, and the Rangers came out, and they're like, what are you guys doing? They're like, you guys want to be on a podcast?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we'll be on a podcast.
So we got to interview 2 of these Rangers. I mean, it was awesome.
It was a crazy experience, and I can't believe we recorded under a train track. Like, it's such a unique place to record. Okay, Erin. This second episode, I think, was the pinnacle announcement of the last few years. And
yes, I agree.
The reason for that is without this announcement, there wouldn't have been announcements like Oracle, maybe even Ford. I don't know.
Yeah,
that one's a stretch. But Oracle, I think if this announcement did not happen, Oracle would have not decided to come here.
It's really hard to judge like what would have happened if X didn't happen before, would Y have happened.
We are not God, so we do not know.
No, but it really was at least I think a pinnacle moment in Nashville development where Amazon had, I think at this time, rumors. This was episode 25.
Way back in the archives.
The Bicentennial Capital Mall State Park was episode 49. This now the Amazon rumors episode was episode 25, and this was important to me. The just because of that possibility that Nashville could have gone many different ways, but the announcement of Amazon, I believe that an Amazon second HQ coming to Nashville really put Nashville in a place where I don't think we'd be if specifically Amazon did not announce their second headquarters for Nashville. I really think that Nashville would be a different story.
For customer excellence.
Yeah.
Their headquarters is over in Virginia.
Yeah. So that's right.
Yeah.
So it was that episode, like I don't remember a thing that we said on the episode, but the theme of that episode is what holds importance to me.
Well, at that time when that announcement was coming, and that did happen like at the end of 2019 when that announcement was coming. At that time, it was the largest job announcement in the history of state Tennessee.
Yeah,
and then,
that's right.
Because of, I truly believe because of Amazon, Oracle announced that they're going to hire 8,000 people here, and I know they're laying off people left and right now. But then Ford came in, and they're like, hey, it's going to be like 6,500 jobs. And then all of these other plants are coming in, and you're just like...
Well, so many more headquarters.
Yeah, was Amazon...
came in from the West Coast
in
New York.
And then you ask yourself, was Amazon the deciding factor of all these other companies coming to Tennessee and allowing our economy to thrive?
I think so.
I think so. I think it was such an important pinnacle announcement for Nashville. I think right there, at that time when that happened, it felt like the development in Nashville is starting to go really down. Not from a residential standpoint, but from a commercial development. And then when Amazon said, hey, I think we're going to open 2 towers in Nashville, all the announcements just start skyrocketing.
I think a lot of people were waiting.
Yeah.
People were waiting to see, is Nashville the next thing? Like people have said it is. And then they were like, I think they held Amazon's opinion in development as like proof.
Which makes sense. Like, Amazon is one of the largest companies in the world, and they also make billions and billions of dollars.
Yeah,
so.
and since then we've had a Google data center, Facebook data center,
Oracle, Ford.
Yeah, I mean,
GM, the battery plants. It's just so much is happening after that announcement of Amazon. It would be really interesting to figure out the puzzle pieces, and I'm not getting paid enough for this, of if that pinnacle announcement caused a avalanche for the rest of the companies coming here.
Interesting.
I don't know. Somebody piece together that puzzle in the comments, please.
Number 3. This was the same for me and you.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Battle of Franklin episodes that we did with Brad and Sarah inside of, was it the carton or the
carton? Yep.
Yeah, inside of the carton, and it was just an incredible experience. First of all, to be in that house while we were recording those episodes.
Yeah.
But to be in a room with Brad and Sarah were just so knowledgeable. Like they could really put the battles into such a relatable context for now, and just had just so much storytelling ability with them. It was just very, very exciting to hear, because I think this was the first time that we got to introduce the Civil War on the podcast.
Oh yeah, and it was an early episode 85, and we introduced the episode on near one of the anniversaries of the Battle of Franklin. And it's so fascinating, and I was very humbled in that situation of how much knowledge they had, just in particular about that battle.
Correct, yeah.
And now imagine, like, all 95 counties in the state of Tennessee, it didn't have a scale of that battle, but there was battle engagements all throughout the state of Tennessee, and there's experts on all of these local areas in these different parts of the states. And so that's just really remarkable that there's so much stories of brother fighting brother and father fighting son. And there's these stories of the Civil War that I don't know if there's any other war like this that has this much documented things. I know current wars do, but like there is so much documentation around the Civil War. It's just so fascinating.
And it was because it was like the first time we were telling these, and Brad and Sarah were telling these Civil War stories on the podcast. It really opened my eyes to what the potential is to bring these stories to a wider audience.
Oh yeah.
And that, I think that's probably a little bit of what was special to me about that, is we can read from these articles and these books and as much as possible, but to have people like that who can storytell these major events is huge and invaluable. And so that was a really, really, really fun series of episodes for me. I think we had to break it down into 2 episodes because it was so long.
2 episodes. We've done like 4 episodes altogether with them on different topics. The interesting thing about that is the Battle of Franklin Trust and the Battle of Nashville Trust. These are the guys who are preserving this deep history. And without knowing our deep history, we are doomed to repeat it. So it's very important that you guys, I know not a lot of people like history, but like it's so significant, the stories that happened for the Battle of Franklin and Battle of Nashville. I would take the time to invest in learning them.
Yep, and there's a reason why you'll see
every year,
in our archives around that
year,
time we play those stories again, because there's so many details in those stories. It is every time like hearing it for the first time because it's so good. All right, number 4 for me. These are not in any kind of chronological order things, even though they kind of are. The neighborhood series. When we started our neighborhood series, we were still we did all of our neighborhood series stuff under our audio only podcast, and we started with Wedgwood, Houston.
Yep.
And it was just really cool to dig so deep into a neighborhood, to learn the ins and outs from it, and to tell the stories of how that neighborhood started. We learned every neighborhood that we did on that series could be traced back to the Civil War land grants.
Oh, the Revolutionary War.
That's right, the Revolutionary War land grants, and how the neighborhood progressed from there. That's when cows were first brought into Middle Tennessee with
Captain John C. Raines.
His daughter's home is still in Wedgwood, Houston. For now. And to really understand what that neighborhood was about, we had a great understanding before, but being able to go in and really every business, talk about every single coffee shop, every single restaurant, every single place that offered a happy hour, every single place that offered something of value to the listeners of this podcast. Obviously, we can't get to every business, but every business that we think you might want to spend your money at. Mostly not a lot of commercial places, but a lot of places like restaurants, coffee shops, and other places of value. So that was good. We did that with I think 5 neighborhoods.
Yeah, so we did Wedgwood, Houston. We did Waverly Place. We did Berry Hill. We've done a little bit in the
Donaldson and 12 South.
And 12 South. We were trying to really solidify going in a direct circle. We're
trying to. So what we tried to do with that, and maybe we do it again, is we kind of place a dot in the middle, and then kind of spiral around it.
That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
And then everything happened with the tornado and coronavirus, and we
There's
basically
so much to cover. So much.
There's a lot coming in the pipeline for neighborhoods here in the future on both channels.
If you've not, we've linked the Wedgwood Houston neighborhood series in there.
Yep.
So definitely go listen to that. So the way we structured it, it was with our audio podcast. We talked a little bit about events and news, and then on the later segment of each podcast, we talked about that portion of Wedgwood Houston. So as you're digging into those episodes, just listen to the full episode if you have time, or you can skip ahead to the Wedgwood Houston portion, and that's on our YouTube channel, xplr.nash. The link is also in the show notes.
All right, Erin. So for the last one, I'm seeing probably one of the best interviews that we have ever conducted.
And it was over the phone.
And it was over the phone. And the reason that this is so interesting is this was fresh from the Christmas bombing, like within a week of this happening.
Yeah, which is pretty wild.
Why don't you go ahead and talk about this interview?
Yeah, so this interview was with a fellow named Buck McCoy.
He plays on Broadway most Friday and Saturday nights.
When we learned about when everybody learned about the Nashville bombing, Buck had a video go viral on Facebook.
Yep.
Live.
Yep.
And then later just like Facebook.
Yep.
He basically, I would encourage you guys to go listen to the interview if you have not. He basically got up when the bomb went off. He was shaken awake, half his building gone. And don't forget there's glass all over his face.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And he was one of the only ones to hit record and document what happened basically after he realized what was going on.
Yeah.
For a split second. And so not only do you get to hear him recount that in the interview, you get to hear him, you get to see, if you go to, I can't remember if that episode, if we linked his Facebook video. I assume
I think we
probably did.
I think we did.
But it's not too hard to find. And but he was that clip just went so viral because it was there are really not that many clips of somebody surviving a bomb,
massive bomb like
on
that.
their apartment building
Yep.
and them trying to find their way out.
Yep.
Rarely does that happen at the scene of the crime where people are just trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, in America, rarely does that happen. But other nations, that happens all the time.
Yeah. So it was a very rare story to tell. We were lucky enough to talk with Buck over the phone and have him recount his story. So I would highly encourage you to go listen to that. That's in the show notes as well.
The thing that's interesting about Buck is he also lost his cat. And that became a big news headline here in Nashville, is trying to find Buck's cat. There was a police officer that heard the cat meowing still in the bomb site that was there a week later, so they found the cat. So it's
just wild.
It's just a really cool story. Make sure to listen to that. It's so overwhelming, the experience that he went through, but it's stories like his that make our podcast a thing that people can relate to.
Also, another thing that makes our podcast go is Blessed Day Coffee. If you have not gotten your hands on Blessed Day Coffee, what are you waiting for? Go to blesseddaycoffee.com. Use the discount code XPLR20 at checkout for 20% off of your purchase. They have some incredible roasts that are just top-notch, fresh and sustainable coffee. We also have a partnership with them for two roasts, the Nashboro Espresso Roast and the Tennessee Blonde Roast. Both incredible flavors for all of the wide range of coffee drinkers out there. They also have wholesaling options. They also they can make sure that you have a good coffee experience no matter your level of where you are in the coffee world as you're making your way up and discovering new roasts and everything. So go to blesseddaycoffee.com, use that discount code XPLR20 at checkout.
Also, we have a big video coming out on our other YouTube channel, explore.nash. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. This video is funny, it's knowledgeable, There's hot chicken involved.
Gather with your family and
It's a lot of fun.
yeah, gather with your family and watch it because there's some trivia in there as we've mentioned with Brad and Stuart.
Yeah.
And see and play along.
Yeah, play along. See if you know all the questions. I doubt it. There's some of the questions are pretty difficult.
Level was on expert.
Yeah,
for these questions.
But you can play along, and then you can also enjoy somebody eating some hot chicken. So subscribe to our YouTube channel, explore.nash, and we will see you on Monday.